Hi everyone. I have been working for quite some time in the Earth and Climate Pool of UC Louvain, now mainly as a researcher, and more recently as a research computer scientist. And today I'm going to talk about a tool that I have been using quite a lot over the last year. That is Coral. So Coral is a homemade tool that helps us to manage climate model simulation jobs. As you will see, the presentation will be um, rather conceptual, not very technical, but don't hesitate to ask technical questions if you like. And first, I wanted to talk about climate models. So I think it's important so that you know what that is, and so that most importantly, you know what kind of job does it represent on the supercomputer. So a climate model is based on physical principles, and here you can see a couple of equations. I won't go into details. This is basically the kind of equations you can find in an atmosphere model with the momentum equations, the conservation of air mass and water mass, the first law of thermodynamics, so the conservation of energy. And so you can see that it's really back to basics, and this is really what a climate model is based on. And of course, these equations cannot be solved continually over space and time. So in a climate model, the components involved need to be divided into grid cells, horizontally and vertically, where the computations are done at a given time step. Obviously, the equations are solved numerically by computers, and so they are coded usually in Fortran for performance reasons. Because climate models are really demanding in terms of computing resources. So we are using supercomputers as most of us here, I guess. And here you can see a nice picture of Brainiac, which is a tier 1 from the VRC I am using now. And let's talk a bit more about the link between climate models and HPC. So when you launch a climate model simulation, its accuracy will depend on several things. And among others, it will depend on the complexity of the model, so the number and the types of components included, the numeral core of these components. It will also depend on the spatial and temporal resolutions of the model. It will also depend on the spatial and temporal scales of the investigated processes. So here, I mean, if you want to study the low frequency variability of an oceanic process, for instance, you will need a long simulation. And actually, all these points are directly related to the HPC facility performance. So climate models really depend on the supercomputers. And also, actually, they are limited by the supercomputers. So today, when we develop a new model, a project, we really have to take into account the fact that we cannot do all we would like to do. And this is the case for our lab, but this is also the case for the biggest research centers over the world. Nobody is able to run like 2 millennia long simulation with state-of-the-art, very high resolution and fully coupled climate model today. And just to give you a concrete example, I have currently a simulation running on Brainiac with a coupled model that is called, well, this name. This is not very important. That's a model that was developed in the framework of Paramour, a big Belgian project, and it covers broadly the peri-Antarctica region. So this model is composed of an ocean component with the time resolution of 900 seconds, spatial resolution of 8 kilometers in 75 vertical levels. Over land, there is a land processes model with a temporal resolution of 360 seconds, 1 hour, and a spatial resolution of 6 kilometers. And on top of them, there is an atmosphere model with a pretty high resolution, temporal resolution of 90 seconds, and a spatial resolution of 6 kilometers and 60 levels. And in addition to this, there is also a CIS component and an ice sheet component. So you can imagine that if you want to run this model over a couple of years or a couple of decades, there is really a huge amount of calculations to be performed. And actually, I started a simulation on Brainiac of about 40 years of simulation. I started this simulation the 10th of December using 224 cores, which is really not a big amount. We usually use much more actually. And this simulation is still running now. And that was quite a long introduction to get to this point. In our case, really, the constraint is the whole time on the supercomputers. So there is a queue on Brainiac that is 72 hours long. That is quite long already compared to other queues, but still that's much less than the time we need to run the full simulation. So we need to cut our simulations into small pieces that do not exceed the whole time. And so in our case, we don't need like a tool to manage a lot of jobs in parallel, but we need a tool to manage a series of sequential jobs. And that is one of the goals of Coral. So Coral, this is a homemade tool written in Bash. It's been written originally by Daniel François and Pierre-Yves Baria. Well, this is homemade. It's in the title of this presentation. We have seen very sophisticated tools yesterday and today. And well, this is, well, a very useful tool and mature, but it is not as sophisticated as some tools we have seen. But this is really useful for us, and it really helps us to launch climate model simulations in a clean and flexible way. So basically, there are a couple of steps of commands with Coral. First, there is the command Coral init that will initiate a set of working configuration files that can be edited by a user. Then there is the Coral build command that will wrap up these configuration files and that will create a submission script that can be submitted by the command Coral submit. And Coral submit will also resubmit the same script again and again until the end of the simulation is reached. And there also are other commands such as Coral status, which will display the current status of the simulation. But here I'm going to focus on the first three commands. So this is the submission script I have used to launch the simulation I am running currently on Brainiac, I've just talked about. And of course, you cannot see anything because it's super long, and this is related, but I wanted you to see that. So the climate model is really a complex application, and a lot of information is needed. A lot of input data are needed to run a climate model. And actually, before Coral, we used to kind of share this kind of script among colleagues, where you would edit a line there and a line here to make your own simulation. But of course, this kind of practice well, becomes quite quickly dirty, and we end up with very dirty submission script. And actually, this submission script is 1,742 lines long, out of which 80% cannot be changed at all. I mean, if you change one of the line belonging to that 80% part, that will not work anymore. So only 20% can potentially be changed by a user. And in fact, we only usually change 10 or 15 lines, I mean, from a simulation to another simulation. And out of the 20% of lines that can be changed by the user, there are four main categories of information. First, the parameters related to the job, so the number of cores, the memory, etc. Then the parameters related to the experiment, or the experiment name, the length of the experiment, the start date, the components of the model included, etc. Then there are the input data path, and there are the model executables. And the purpose of the first Coral command, the Coral init, is really to copy from existing templates 4 files, one file corresponding to these 4 categories. So these files only contain what can potentially be changed by the user, and they work as is. So you can just the user do not have to take into account the job scheduler or whatever. This is done automatically. So that's quite useful for the user. And once the user has changed what he wants to change, he can build a submission script with the command Coral build that will merge these 4 files and append them to a common skeleton that will not be that is hidden to the user, to create one submission script that can then be submitted using the common Coral submit. And so here, this is a flow chart I wanted to have once. It's a workshop on the workflows. And I'm going to show you how that works when you Coral submit the submission script. So first, we check whether there exists a restart control file. So this is basically a very simple text file with information about when the simulation is, where is it. If it exists, we check whether the current date of the simulation is smaller than the end of the simulation. And if it's not the case, it means that the simulation is already completed. So we stop there. If it's the case, it means that we are in a restart case. So the simulation already exists, but we have to continue it. If there is no restart control file, it means that the simulation doesn't exist yet. And so we start from scratch, and there is a big step of preparing the run directory, copying a lot of data, linking them, etc. And when it's done, in both cases, we will launch the models for an amount of time, of course, that is smaller than the allowed hold time. And when it's done, there is a post-processing stage where we will save the result into archive directories, we'll clean the run directory, etc. And we will edit the restart control file. We will tell it, okay, now the simulation is there. And afterwards, we will once again check whether the current date is smaller at the end of the simulation. If that's not the case, the simulation is completed. And if that's the case, the same submission script will be resubmitted again and again. And so in this case, of course, we will be in the restart case path. So that's basically the principle behind Coral. And that's what I wanted to show you. So for my take-home messages, climate model simulations are a very big program, and it involves massively parallel jobs. And there are 2 main challenges that need to be faced when launching a simulation. First, there is a huge amount of data and information that is required. So the submission script can be very long, is very long and can be very dirty if you do not take care of it. And else, on most supercomputers, the maximum hold time is a limiting factor for our simulations that can sometimes last months or even years of computing time. And so Coral is there to overcome these challenges. So it allows for easily and cleanly setting up an experiment and for submitting a simulation script again and again until the end of the simulation is reached. That's it for me.
Thank you. So is there any questions? I see someone clapping, but I do have one question actually. So so you're basically doing a given number of iterations during your jobs, and then after you resubmit another number of iterations, so you do use some more advanced pointing in a way?
No. That's really a number of iterations that is defined in advance, because you cannot just restart a climate model. Where is it? You have to plan things before, because you have to save a lot of input data for the next step. So we will tell him before, okay, now just let's run 1 month of simulation, and then you stop, you save the results, and we will start from there.
Mm-hmm.